Love prairie sportsmen? Become a member of Pioneer PBS today.
I mean, that's not a giant pike or anything, but I'll tell you what, it bent the rod pretty good, went straight down to the bottom and pulled some line out. And Ray, sometimes that's what it's all about. It's just getting out here, getting some action.
Absolutely. My dad grew up in Poncitlán, Jalisco, and he grew up hunting doves.
Just a little bit of olive oil rubbed on them and salt and pepper. I want to taste what the true dove, what the meat is.
Funding for this program was provided by Safe Basements of Minnesota, your basement waterproofing and foundation repair specialist since 1990. Peace of mind is a safe basement. Live Wide Open. The more people know about West Central Minnesota, the more reasons they have to live here. More at livewideopen.com. Western Minnesota Prairie Waters, where peace, relaxation, and opportunities await. And the members of Pioneer PBS.
It's no secret that Minnesotans love to fish. But as the state's population continues to diversify, our new residents are learning to enjoy the many nearby lakes, streams, and rivers. While some longtime anglers have known about the quality fishing opportunities the Twin Cities area lakes offer, they're becoming increasingly popular to a mix of cultures who reside in the metro. I was invited to fish one of the more popular lakes in Minneapolis, the former Lake Calhoun, now renamed Bedema-Casca, by Ray Ruiz Jr.
Primarily going to be focusing on bass, but if we get other critters happen to like our presentation, we'll take those too. But we're going to be starting with topwater.
Hey, if we accidentally catch a muskie, I'm okay with it.
Absolutely. No.
How deep does this lake get?
It gets I think in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Jeez. And there's no walleyes in here? Or?
There is walleye in here, big walleyes in here.
Bedema-Casca is the largest in the Minneapolis chain of lakes. That also includes Lake Harriet, Lake of the Isles, Brownie Lake, and Cedar Lake.
This lake has just a tremendous amount of structure and grass, and primarily milfoil, and that's what these fish will relate to.
I've never fished inside sailboats before.
It's a hard technique, it's very difficult.
While the metro lakes may be more popular for their recreational uses, the fishing shouldn't be overlooked.
The thing, it's low pressure, but the accessibility, especially for boats, it's not all there. It's hard to get to a parking spot. And
when you look at a lake like this, you can't use any gas motors out here, so you see us going around with the trolling motor the whole way. So a guy might look at this lake and say, gosh, there's sailboats, there's a lot of recreation out there, I can't use my big motor, I gotta park sometimes down the road. But you know what that does is that keeps a lot of pressure off of these fish, and it can make a lake like this in the heart of the city a pretty good lake for fishing.
When you think of Uptown, you think of craft beer, great restaurants, culture and art.
Right.
The last thing you think about is muskie or bass fishing,
Well, this is the kind of art I like.
That's right.
I want to come back here and duck hunt this fall. Think the city of Minneapolis will let us?
Yeah. Oh, man, that would be awesome.
There's mallards everywhere. Look, 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 look. Top water's always been my favorite.
Oh, it's the best.
But I'm out of practice,
yeah.
So as soon as I see the water move, I'm setting the hook, which is way too early.
Right. Oh my God, what the hell?
He got off!
Oh! Dude, I think that was a muskie, dude. I think that was a muskie. I saw the tail. God. The fish gods are cruel sometimes. There's one. Oh, God.
As soon as I throw it.
Oh!
We had an audience there that were filming us with their phones. I think they got you missing that.
I think so, yeah.
You're going to be a YouTube star missing that bass.
They're going to see grown men cry, so.
Ray runs a company called BassTech. It focuses on introducing the world of fishing to the Spanish-speaking community.
you got to teach me some Spanish words for fishing
yeah.
while we're out here today.
Well, one word that comes to mind right away is pesca, which is just
Pesca.
which is just fishing. Oh, we missed him. Pescar is pesca, pescar, and it's funny because in Italian or in Portuguese it's pesci, like Joe Pesci. So if you can think of Joe Pesci, it means fishing or fish.
Pesci.
Pesci, yeah.
Pesci. Do you have to
Pesci.
say it like? You have to say it like Joe Pesci.
Yes,
Pesci. Where are you from, Ray?
Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, man. You know, so.
How'd you get to Minnesota?
Accepted a partial scholarship the summer of '98 to the U of M, and always wanted to move to Minnesota because when I was a kid, I used to watch Al Linder, Babe Winkleman, Ron Shera, all those guys, and
Sure.
I always wanted to be a pro angler or have to do something with fishing, and I wanted to be part of the fishing community. So when I saw the opportunity, I turned down other Big Ten schools actually to attend the University of Minnesota. I was up north. I was in Reamer, Minnesota. My mom and my dad's fishing in the back, and I'm up front. My mom's sitting in the seats in the middle of the boat, and I told my mom, if you're gonna come up on the boat, make sure you let me know, because I was throwing around a big old crankbait, man.
Oh boy.
And here I am.
I know where the story's going.
And then she comes. I didn't even see her. I'm just like this. I'm on the trolling motor, and I load up. I'm not gonna do it because you're back there, but I load up to swing, and all of a sudden I hear whop, and I'm like, turn around, and she's hooked in the head. Mind you, my mom has that really, really thick Latina hair, which is like, and she had a double hoodie on, and it got stuck on the side of her head, and she just went like this. And she said, "What was that?" And I'm like, "Oh, nothing, Ma." I was like, "Come here." And I grabbed the pliers and there's a picture. I'll show it to you. There's a picture of her with my dad holding like a 5-pound bass, and you can see on the hoodie, you can see it's like worn out from me trying to get the hooks out.
Being from Chicago, Ray, do you ever think that your life could have gone in a different direction?
Absolutely. I thank my parents for being very supportive, very loving, and giving me opportunities they didn't have. Like good education was one of them, and I had a lot of buddies who ended up in jail, ended up dead, ended up just living a different kind of lifestyle. And I'm very blessed to have been on the right path, and I thank not only my parents but fishing for that. That's a big component of what kept me off the streets. I thank my parents for it, and it was a way out. It was a way for me to do something else.
Fishing has that effect.
It does.
It's amazing.
It is.
Ray, tell me about your company.
I started Bass Tech a couple years ago. I was working for during the time, there's one, golly. That's another pike.
Another pike.
This is getting hot!
Oh, it's a bass. He came, there he is, yeah. Not bad, not bad.
The Latino community is one of the largest growing community, not only in the United States, but in Minnesota.
Largemouth bass are primarily catch and release for most anglers. So if we're going to tell people in Spanish, we're practicing catch and release, what do we say?
Estamos el día de hoy pescando aquí en el lago de Macasca y estamos pescando palomina negra. El día de hoy estamos capturando lobina negra, pero la estamos dejando ir. We're releasing off. Todos los pescados se regresan al lago el día de hoy. Estamos practicando capturar y dejar ir. So catch and release.
Gracias.
De nada.
Ray's company, Bass Tech, is always looking to help more people, whether it be the Spanish-speaking community or any community that wants to get out and learn how to fish. I asked Ray to give a message in Spanish to anyone out there watching that would like to join him on the water.
Si quiere aprender a pescar, quiere aprender las cosas fundamentales para la pesca, por favor váyase a basstechmn.com. Ahí puede aprender tácticas y estrategias de pesca para diferentes especies de pescados. Estamos en Facebook, estamos en YouTube, en diferentes plataformas. Por favor, otra vez vayas a basstechmn.com. Gracias por ver y gracias por su apoyo. So I said, thank you for your help, thank you for your support.
Sí. Muy rápido.
Muy rápido. Nice hook set, man.
Thanks.
That's another pike.
Yeah, it's another pike for sure. It's not going to be a
hammered that
giant,
thing.
but
He hammered it. God. Oh my God, that's nice, man.
they're kind of chunky for, you know, he's
fat.
not real long, but they definitely have a little chunk to them.
The fat.
Let's see if I can look at how he ate that thing. There we go. That's what I was hoping for, the old tail walk. Yeah, well, there's our big fish of the day. Ray, you know, he's not a giant. To be able to find a lake like this, to have this kind of action, we lost a lot of fish, but we had action constantly. This is a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Muchas gracias.
De nada. There we go.
Farmers are looking for an alternative crop that they can be profitable with.
You'll mix up a little of the Hempura. Very user-friendly, this product.
This is hemp. It won't get you high, but it's high in protein, and it's quickly becoming a favorite food source for doves. Dove hunting is relatively easy. All you need is a food or water source, a couple of spinning wing decoys, and a place to hide.
Look at them all out over the hemp out there. They are almost too close.
Coming right at us.
See this one? Yep. There we go. First dove on the ground, boys. Nice job.
After learning that Ray Ruiz Jr. was introduced to the outdoors by his father, Ray Sr., I decided they both needed to come with on this dove hunt.
Well, my dad grew up in Poncitlán, Jalisco, and he grew up hunting doves, but he didn't use, they had limited resources, so they hunted with slingshots.
I shoot all kind of birds. I don't waste nothing. If I don't eat it, I don't shoot them.
That's what you do to put food on the table. I guess you get good pretty fast. So he grew up doing that as well as hunting other small game. So he passed that knowledge and wisdom on to me. So I'm very grateful for that and very happy to share this moment with him. So coming in, right here, Dad. What?
Oh no!
Like I said, it's very humbling.
They are tough.
After learning more about hemp, it's understandable why you could have a good dove hunt here. But what's a normal reaction when you're asked to hunt a hemp field?
Is it legal? That's the first thing I thought about. And I thought it was kind of cool. I just didn't know doves related to hemp, but the owner, Brian, educated me on how the structure of the hemp plant and how it has seeds integrated in it and how doves relate to that. So that's pretty awesome.
Right in front, right in front.
Shoot him again. Oh no. You need practice, Dad. What's going on? They used to call you Rambo. What happened?
Almost 15 years, honey, we don't hunt doves. We used to hunt doves in South Illinois metropolis, 7 miles from Paducah, Kentucky.
After moving to Chicago, Ray Sr. made it a point to get Ray into the outdoors.
Oh, he was a wild kid. He was 3 years old and he goes everywhere. Across the street and I had to put a leash like a little dog. He runs everywhere.
Well, I grew up in Chicago. We grew up in a neighborhood where it was socioeconomically not the best, and infrastructure was rough. You know, it was a lot of gangs, a lot of violence. Both my parents, my mom and my dad, did the best they could, and
There you go.
woo! And I think that was a way to get out of the city, get us away from all the nonsense, and introduce us to the outdoors and hunting, and introduce you to a different kind of lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle versus the city lifestyle, which can be very dangerous. And as a young man, you can get into a lot of trouble. But I was able to avoid all that because my dad took us out of that and introduced us to hunting. So that was very, very special.
There was a lot of shootings, a lot of drugs. I don't want my kids hang around in the neighborhood. There was no bueno, too dangerous for them, you know. That's why I teach it whatever what I know, you know. I teach a little bit. Now they learn more than me, maybe.
So he got you away from a potential life of violence, crime, drugs, and you brought him to a hemp field.
The irony.
No, you can't get anything wacky off this tobacco. This is all for nutrition, protein, fiber, all sorts of good stuff in this plant. In fact, we're going to learn a little bit more about it right now.
We're hunting near Sleepy Eye in a 75-acre field of hemp grown by Brian Verkner. It looks like marijuana, but doesn't smoke the same. Industrial hemp is tested by the Ag Department to make sure it doesn't have more than 0.3% THC, the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana.
I think in 2016 they started growing it legally in Minnesota through a pilot program. And what I do is harvest for the grain in it and possibly selling the fiber below the grain heads. And it gets tested for the THC content before I can even sell it. If they test it and it's over, you have to actually destroy it.
In 2019, Brian signed up to be a contract grower for Legacy Hemp, which provides seed to growers, then pays them for harvested seeds and stems. Legacy Hemp markets the products to food and fiber manufacturers.
Farmers are looking for an alternative crop that they can be profitable with, and also hemp is great for the rotation because it adds nitrogen back to the soil.
Although there's a lot of hype right now about the benefits of hemp-derived CBD oil, the big acreage is for industrial uses.
And with Legacy Hemp and the farmers that we work with, we deal in agriculture. So we're dealing with hundreds to thousands of acres at a time, compared to a large CBD production would be 5 acres. The strong point right now is the grain, and the grain is being used for food products. It's the perfect balance for the human body for the omega-3 and 6. So also the GLA profiles are just a help for anti-inflammation within the body. And for a plant-based protein, hemp is one of the most usable, naturally usable proteins for the human body. The secondary use, which is really going to help make farmers profitable, is being able to do something with the stalks.
Bast fiber in the stalks can be used to make insulation, farm bedding, paper, textiles, and building materials.
The hemp plastics are kind of the latest. They've been around for a while, but the technology is really advancing. Lego is going to hemp-based plastics, which is, that's huge news. One of their attributes is they can actually naturally break down. If you use them in everyday use, they have great durability, but they actually will naturally break down.
Hemp originated in China thousands of years ago. Production spread through Europe, then came to America, where it was grown for fiber. The plants we find growing along fence lines and ditches is feral hemp, left over from production in the 1800s to the 1940s. After World War II, production diminished because of competition from synthetics and federal regulations. And in 1970, it was classified as an illegal drug with strict restrictions on cultivation. In 2014, Kentucky became the first state to legalize hemp production. That same year, the federal Farm Bill allowed state research institutions to grow pilot plots. But there was still strong opposition to full production until farm organizations stepped up their support.
When the Farm Bureau came in, it was a game changer, it really was. If anyone wants to thank anyone for bringing hemp back to America, it's not your politicians or activists, it's the farmers and the farmers groups. They're the ones that finally, once they were educated that hemp and marijuana were not the same, they stood up and said, let us grow this crop. We're not interested in growing drugs. We want to grow a profitable crop that's good for our soil and has markets.
The 2018 Farm Bill fully legalized hemp production, and hybrid seeds are being developed for all regions of the country. Minnesota is among the top 5 states in hemp production, with 8,000 to 10,000 acres planted annually.
Yeah, you know, it's basically like any other commodity. You just need someone to start it, and it takes off, hopefully.
Well, if dove hunters have anything to say about it, it should take off everywhere. After spending the morning in the drownout between the hemp and the bean field, we moved into the standing hemp to get closer to the birds and to stop staring into the sun.
Oh, Dad.
Oh!
Hey, I get an assist on that one.
Double. The ammo companies are loving us today. Watch these right here. Quattro. Oh. Oh, there's a double to finish the day right there. This has been a great hunt. Let's go eat some doves. Doves are delicious, and adding a little hemp to them might make them more nutritious and even more delicious. So we're gonna learn about how you can utilize hemp in your cooking.
Since growing industrial hemp was fully legalized in 2018, markets have been growing for the plant's grains and fiber. Legacy Hemp contracts with farmers to grow industrial hemp that it markets to food and fiber manufacturers. To expand the hemp product line, Legacy Hemp partnered with Chef Jim Kinberg to develop Hempura, a Japanese-style batter mix. We joined the chef at a camp cookout near Bayport, where Jim fried up vegetables and Hempura to accompany roasted dove that we harvested on a hemp field.
So this is one of my favorite little kitchen gadgets, but warning, these things are sharp and they do cut. But you can see how much time this saves, and it makes these little matchsticks of the vegetables that you zip through it. So we're gonna take our yam and do a little portion of that. Beautiful little matchstick kind of pieces, and we're gonna do the same thing with the yellow squash. Just like so. Look how nice that looks. You'll mix up a little of the Hempura. Very user-friendly, this product. So we're using beer today. You can use sparkling soda, club soda. You can use cold water. You basically want to just add enough cold liquid to get it to almost like a pancake batter consistency. And then the key ingredient is the hemp, of course, but it's the hemp protein. So that's the outer shell of the hemp seed. And it's just a crunch on this Hempura batter is, you can set it out on the counter overnight and come eat it for breakfast and it's still crunchy. It's really amazing stuff. So let's get started. I think we got some hot oil over the campfire and we're gonna make our little bird's nest with some vegetables and Hempura. We're just gonna mix these together, the Hempura and the vegetables. Give them a little toss, nice thin little coating. Just enough to kind of glue them together and give us that nice crispy exterior. I think we're ready for the oil. Temperature we're looking for is approximately 350 to 360 degrees. You want to be careful not to splash too much, but you hear that nice sizzle? That's exactly what we're looking for.
After the bird's nest is finished, Jim prepares coals for roasting the doves at about 400 degrees. He adds hemp pellets to augment the smoky flavor, but keeps the seasoning simple.
You know, I've got just a little bit of olive oil rubbed on them and salt and pepper. I want to taste what the true dove, what the meat is. You can hide it in a lot of marinades and strong spices. That's not what I'm trying to do today. I just want to, cook it so it's not dried out. We want it a little bit pink in the middle. A little nest. This is a little butternut squash puree.
The perfectly grilled breasts top the puree, and the dish is finished with fresh tomatoes and basil from Jim's garden. He also made a little gravy for dipping. It smells delicious. Time to dig in.
Should I do this right here? There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So now with eating dove on the breastbone, I find the best way to do it is you kind of just dig in right here and you can peel that meat right off the bone. Oh, I'm dripping all over the place.
All right.
Whoa, oh my gosh. I don't know what you guys are gonna eat. Yeah, that's very good.
The vegetables fried in Hempura batter were also very tasty. Legacy Hemp is expecting products like Hempura to take off in the marketplace and create new uses for industrial hemp.
Funding for this program was provided by Safe Basements of Minnesota, your basement waterproofing and foundation repair specialist since 1990. Peace of mind is a safe basement. Live Wide Open. The more people know about West Central Minnesota, the more reasons they have to live here. More at livewideopen.com. Western Minnesota Prairie Waters, where peace, relaxation, and opportunities await. And the members of Pioneer PBS.
Well, so I was thinking, guys, probably set some decoys, some full bodies up here in the grass. We'll throw some floaters right out here. We could hide the blinds probably right along this edge right here. We'll set them in the sand and then kind of grass in the blinds right there. And then we can use this little lip right here to kind of conceal our